Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really simple but honestly a pretty powerful story. It's a parable that might just hold the key to quieting that constant, noisy chatter that so many of us have in our own heads. You know that feeling, right? Where your thoughts are just constantly swirling, pulling you back to what happened yesterday or rocketing you forward to what might happen tomorrow? Well, our story today is all about a young man named Marco who felt that exact same way. So let's meet Marco. He's 24 years old, and his mind, it's just in a constant state of turmoil. This endless river of thoughts makes him feel uneasy all the time. He's totally exhausted, and he's gotten to the point where he's forgotten what it even feels like to genuinely smile. Yeah, Marco is completely trapped in this mental tug-of-war. On one side, he's just stuck, dwelling on all the sadness from his past. And on the other, he's completely filled with anxiety about the future. It leaves absolutely zero room for him to just be, to exist in the present. So Marco's pretty desperate for a solution. Then one day, he hears about this wise old man, a former psychologist actually, who now lives this quiet life up in the hills. And with just a little sliver of hope, Marco decides, that's it, I'm going. He makes this long, difficult journey, really believing this man might hold the key to the peace he's been craving. So after finally reaching the village, Marco finds the old man, just sitting peacefully on his porch. He walks up to him and just lays his struggle bare, asking the one question that brought him all this way. The wise man listens, with this calm smile on his face. But he doesn't launch into some complex philosophical advice. Nope. Instead, he gives Marco a very specific and honestly a pretty strange-sounding task to complete. The instructions sounded deceptively simple. Take this glass of water, fill to the absolute brim, walk all the way to the edge of the village, and come back. And don't spill a single drop. It's a challenge that demands one thing above everything else: total, unwavering concentration. And listen, this was no quiet, meditative walk in the park. The path was anything but peaceful. The road was narrow, it was busy, you had people rushing by, shopkeepers shouting out to customers, dogs barking. It was an environment practically designed to break his focus at every single turn. But Marco's focus, it was unbreakable. He walked so slowly, so carefully, his eyes just glued to the surface of the water in that glass. And he did it. He came back to the wise man. The glass was still completely full, and he proudly announced his success. Now, Marco thought the test was over, but really, the most important part was just beginning. You see, the task was never really about carrying a glass of water. It was about carrying his own awareness. And the old man was about to reveal the true, profound lesson behind it all. So the wise man just looks at him, smiles, and then asks a couple of really simple questions. Questions that were about to completely shift Marco's entire understanding of his own mind. And Marco's response, well, it says everything. He was so intensely focused on his task, on that present moment of not spilling the water, that all the chaos of the village, the kids, the dogs, the shouting, it all just faded away. He didn't even notice it. In that moment of pure focus, his mind was quiet. And this, right here, this is the secret. The wise man explained that when your mind is completely absorbed in the now, there is just no room for anything else. No space for past regrets. No room for future anxieties. The storm inside your head, it simply can't exist. It's really the core idea of mindfulness. And just like that, it clicks for Marco. He gets it. The peace he had traveled so far to find wasn't something he needed to get from the outside. It was a state that was already inside him, just waiting to be uncovered by living in the present moment. So here's the crucial point. What does this actually mean for us? How can we take this powerful little story and apply it to quiet the storms in our own minds? So the big takeaway is this. Peace isn't some destination you have to find. It's what's left over when you clear everything else away. By focusing completely on one single task, doesn't matter if it's washing dishes, reading a book, or just going for a walk, you basically starve the anxious parts of your brain. You create your own glass of water to focus on, and in that focus, you find that calm. So, I'll ask you, what is your glass of water today? The lesson is so simple, but it does require practice. Find one thing, it can be big or small, and just give it your complete, undivided attention. Empty your mind and discover the peace that's already waiting for you.